Could you survive the American Civil War? Imagine this. It's 1863. The air is thick with the acrid smell of gunpowder. Smoke swirls around as cannonballs crash like rolling thunder, and musket fire echoes ominously. You're in the heart of a Civil War battlefield. Could you survive? Modern comforts have dulled our senses to the brutalities of such a time. Let's journey back and see why surviving the American Civil War was a monumental feat. The American Civil War stands as one of the bloodiest chapters in U.S. history, a devastating conflict with over 600,000 lives lost. Its brutality stemmed from the horrifying fusion of archaic tactics with the dawn of advanced weaponry. Rifled muskets turned the battlefield into a deadly arena, where soldiers marched in tight formations, transforming into living targets. Imagine being part of such a line, hearing only the whistling of bullets and knowing the next could claim you. Cannons rumble in the distance, not just instruments of sound but engines of obliteration, hurling explosive shells and shrapnel without discrimination. These deadly projectiles mean that surviving any skirmish was as much about luck as skill. Survive the battlefield? Now face your greatest test, Civil War medicine. Antibiotics were a dream still unimagined. Minor wounds risked turning gangrenous with amputation as the sole recourse, performed swiftly, sans anesthesia, as surgeons raced against an ever-mounting tide of maimed bodies. Picture the screams among the scent of blood and ether as limbs were severed with mechanical precision. Disease marched alongside armies, claiming 2/3 of the fallen. Dysentery, typhoid, and pneumonia became the hidden predators in camps steeped in their own filth. This unseen enemy struck down soldiers faster than bullets could. The grimness doesn't end with battle. Life in the camps teetered on the edge of despair. Soldiers lay exposed to the elements, often sleeping on cold, wet earth with the rain as their only blanket. Nutrition? A gaunt specter, the diet was mainly hardtack. A biscuit as hard as stone and teeming with weevils. Clean water was a rarity, and dehydration walked hand in hand with malnutrition. The seasons themselves were foes. Soldiers without proper boots or clothing braved blistering summers and unforgiving winters. On top of physical endurance, surviving required a relentless spirit, constantly battered by hopeless circumstances. Even if the body endured, the mind was another battlefield. The Civil War was a cauldron of psychological torment, where men witnessed the tearing apart of comrades, inhaled the stench of death, and bore the burden of taking lives. With no concept of post-traumatic stress disorder, many veterans returned as fragmented souls, trailing phantoms of the past behind them. The scars ran deep, as many returned to civilian lives they could no longer fit into, continually haunted by the horrors witnessed and committed. Imagine your body being elsewhere, not on the battlefield but at home, where the war raged differently. The economy, especially in the South, lay in ruins. Food shortages incited riots, inflation rendered currency into piles of worthless paper, and foreboding silence marked towns leveled to rubble. Every able-bodied man was called to arms, leaving women and children to grapple with the void, holding fast against fears of raids and the heart-wrenching risk of loss. Why wouldn't you survive? For many modern souls, the Civil War era's demands, both physical and mental, would be insurmountable. We live in a realm where healthcare is a given, food supply is stable, and communication is instantaneous. Strip away these luxuries and the struggle becomes almost unfathomable. Could you endure a 10-pound rifle at your shoulder, march 20th miles in a day, and face battle with nary a blink of rest or morsel of food? Could you weather months enveloped in dirt and disease, knowing each breath might be your last? The American Civil War signifies a landscape of hardship wrought with unimaginable sacrifice. As history enthusiasts, we must peel back the veneer of romance often painted over this period. Remember those who endured and those who fell during this harrowing time. They possessed a resilience and strength that belies modern comprehension. So next time your thoughts drift to this era, honor those who lived through it. Let their stories impress upon you the endurance, the anguish, and the unwavering tenacity of the past, spurning the glorification of a time that was anything but romantic. As history unfurls before us, let it educate, entertain, and forever resonate with the solemnity of its truths.